for the 208th consecutive regular season game, the Peterson Event Center is sold out. This is the ACC on ESPN. The Pitt students just returned today from their semester break, just in time to inhabit the Oakland Zoo for the first ACC home game in school history. And tonight it will be the Maryland Terrapins versus the Pitt Panthers. Hi everyone, I'm Bob Picozzi along with Carol Lawson, who played on the 2008 United States gold medal winning Olympic team. Thanks for spending part of your evening with us. Well, Carol, after playing the last 31 years in the Big East, Pitt is just starting to get to know its ACC brethren. But Maryland leaving for the Big Ten, the Panthers won't get very long to get to know the Terps.
Well, they won't. And I think when you take a look at this Pittsburgh team, only one loss on the season, but haven't really had the toughest non-conference schedule. So the next 4 to 5 weeks, they get into the meat of that ACC schedule. This Pitt team is everything you'd expect. They're tough, they defend, they rebound. So now they get a chance to see if they can get a big home win against Maryland. And
in our one-on-one, so far it's been a happy and healthy new year for the Terps.
Well, everything's different now that Mark Turgeon has the full complements of his rotation. Seth Allen back, 3-0, and look at the difference in the bench production. Nick Faust and Seth Allen give the Terps so much offense coming off the bench. Then Lamar Patterson, he has had a sensational start to his senior season, leads the team in scoring and assists. Everything you'd expect in terms of physical wing that can get to the paint and score.
And here are the starting lineup. First for Maryland, Des Wells has scored in double figures in his last 11 games. Jake Layman is third in the ACC in three-point makes. Evan Smotrich is the conference's 10th leading rebounder. And for Pitt, James Robinson leads the country in assist-to-turnover ratio. Cameron Wright second in the conference in steals. Freshman Michael Young coming off a career-high 13-point performance in a win over NC State on Saturday. Pitt 13-1 overall, 1-0 in the league. Maryland 10-5, 2-0 in the league. Jumping center will be Shaquille Clear for Maryland. And for Pitt, to leave Zana, there are your officials. Roger Ayers will toss the ball up. An historic night here in Pittsburgh. Welcome to the ACC for the Pitt Panthers, their first home conference game, and the tip controlled by the Terps. This is Des Wells. The initial defensive assignment goes to Cameron Wright. Down low, Clear with the jump hook.
A really good sign for Maryland, trying to give the touches to some of their five-man. Shaquille Clear has struggled at times offensively. He's not a big producer, but they get him a bucket early.
Up top, Robinson has just been superb handling the basketball this season. Cameron Wright with a jumper in the lane. Rebound is pulled down by number 2, Roddy Peters. Peters changed directions on the dribble, then kind of lost the handle, and that was a very difficult shot. Wright has really struggled from the three-point line, 2 for 17 this year. Great penetration. Zana!
Well, you talk about his struggles from the three-point line, but what makes a huge difference for Pitt is when their guards attack. I mean, Cameron Wright here, the attack gets by, and that's going to be a challenging matchup for Maryland on the defensive end, particularly to start Jake Layman guarding Cameron Wright. But I thought that was a difference for Pitt in their second half win. Outscored second half over NC State, outscored NC State 48-28, and their guards really attacked. It makes a difference, and Zana with a nice finish.
The foul was on Wells, and Zana will try to complete the three-point play. Jamie Dixon told us at shoot-around today that Zana is a tough matchup for opponents, and we like to get him more touches inside. Now they're changing the foul. Instead, it's on 44, Shaquille Clear, instead of Wells. Wells drives, and Wright got a piece of it. Panthers looking for something in transition. Wright had nowhere to go with the ball, but the Panthers keep it alive. Patterson with the pull-up. Boy, Patterson's done everything for the Panthers this season.
You know, he really has. I think he's underrated on the national scale. When you look at what he's doing, 17 points a game, leads their team in assists. He's lost 18 pounds over the summer, but much better physical condition for Lamar Patterson and showing up in his game.
Peters, cross-court Layman. Across the lane, Wells with the runner. Rebounded by Robinson. Here's Wright quickly. Patterson with the finish. just trying to calm down in the early going. Wells around the Smotrich screen. Back to Wells. Shot clock at 10. Smotrich with the clock at 3. And he hits the 3.
I thought he turned down an easier shot and took a tougher one, but nice job by Smotrich there. And you know Pitt is going to hedge those ball screens, so with that spread action, somebody's going to be open. Wells finds Smotrich in the corner.
Inside, and it's rejected by Lehman. He leads the team in that category. Pitt keeps it alive, and here's the steal by Lehman. 3-on-2 break, and Peters finishes.
Yeah, that's good for Maryland. They have to learn to attack better and push the pace more. Transition off of turnovers and off of missed shots are going to pay dividends in this game. Don't let Pitt get that half-court D set up.
And it was all set up by the Lehman rejection. Zana set the screen, then rolled. Pass deflected out of bounds by Lehman with 18 to shoot. There's Jamie Dixon, the second winningest coach in Panthers history. This is the only place he's ever been a head coach. And Kara, he has been the model of consistency.
You know, what's so impressive about Pitt is every year we use similar adjectives about their teams. They're tough, they defend, they play hard, they get to 50-50 balls. It's a credit to Jamie Dixon and his staff that he gets his guys every season to play with this type of effort. Shot
clock all the way down to 5. Patterson, a contested perimeter shot. Terrific defensive possession for Maryland, but then they turn it over, and then number 1, Jamel Artis, loses it right back. Wells. Peters starting at the point as Seth Allen gets back into better basketball shape. Allen hasn't been able to practice much, coming off that broken foot. Shot clock inside 10. Here comes the double. Clock down to 4. Peters drives and leaves it too late. Shot clock violation. The Panthers have won their last 11 games in this building. They trail Maryland by 1 in their conference home opener. .6-0 run. Maryland's had a 5-0 run. Terps by 1. The Panthers off to a 13-1 start. They won their first 10 games before losing to Cincinnati at Madison Square Garden. Only scored 43 points in the game. Jamie Dixon, in his 11th season at Pitt. First year in the ACC following the 31 years in the Big East. And this is what they gave to all the fans when they entered the building for the first ACC home game. What they really should have handed out, Kara, was hand warmers. The forecast in Pittsburgh overnight is supposed to get down to, and I kid you not, 27 degrees below zero wind chill factor. So thank goodness this one's being played indoors instead of on the outdoor courts here in the Pitt campus.
And what an environment it is. I mean, the students here, you mentioned, Bob, their first day back at school, the Oakland Zoo out in full force. Great home court environment here for the Panthers.
They have sold out every regular season home game since this building opened in 2002. And every seat is sold out for every game this year. Cameron Wright. Shot clock inside 10. Patterson gives to Zana, who rolled for the hoop. And the weak side help resulted in the steal. Both teams having trouble running their half-court offense so far.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I think both teams need to be opportunistic off of those misses and off of turnovers, but there's some opportunities here. A nice drive there by Smotrich. I think for Maryland to find guys off of Pittsburgh hedging on those ball screens open from beyond the arc.
And Mark Turgeon makes 4 substitutions at once. He's in his 3rd year, previously coached at Texas A&M, Wichita State, Jacksonville State. Likes the way his club's playing. A win tonight would make the Terps 3-0 in the ACC for the first time since 2002, and that's the magical year when the Terps won the national championship. Wright with the steal, and finish, and foul.
About how much Lamar Patterson is a difference maker for Pitt and how much he's improved from a season ago. How about Cameron Wright, a double-figure scorer? He's been a difference maker on the defensive end. When he's in an attack mindset, Pitt is so much better on the offensive end of the floor.
And Wright demonstrating why he's second in the conference in steals with that move. It was his 33rd of the year. The foul on Seth Allen, his first and 2 on the Terps. This is Allen with the ball. He broke his foot on October 29th. Missed the first 12 games. This is his 4th game back. Lehman for 3. Rebound batted around inside and controlled by number 5, Nick Faust for the Terps. 0, Charles Mitchell. 25, Jonathan Graham also in for Maryland. And Allen will draw the foul from Artis. That will be his first. And number 1 on the Panthers.
Already you see the difference in what Seth Allen brings to this Maryland team. Off of that pick, being able to get into the lane, his quickness. When stuff breaks down, Seth Allen can make the play. And that's what the Terps missed when he was out.
And Mark Turgeon told us today, I asked him, when do you suppose you're going to put Allen back in the starting lineup? Because let's face it, he is their starting point guard. And he smiled and he said, when he's able to practice. And he explained that because his foot is still sore, he really has been very limited in practice. But Maryland doesn't play again until this Saturday. And Mark said he suspects by then that Allen will start. Peters has done a good job filling in there.
He has. Had some turnover problems there early when he first took the starting position, but he has improved a ton since he got into the starting lineup.
Number 5, Deron Johnson is in for Pitt. Young sets the screen. To the cutter, Robinson with the pull-up. Rebound, Lehman. Allen to Faust. Low block, Jonathan Graham. Kick out, Faust for 3. Rebounded inside by Young. Robinson penetrates all the way to the rim, can't make the shot. And he stepped on the end line, and it'll go back to the Maryland Terps. On Super Tuesday, we have 2 conference rivalry games on ESPNU. First at 7, it'll be Georgia Tech and Duke. Then at 9, Vanderbilt, Alabama. Both games also live on Watch ESPN. And today, Kara, Duke fell out of the top 10 for the first time in 122 weeks after Saturday's loss to Notre Dame.
Well, it's a pretty impressive streak, and certainly Duke's struggling with some things. Defense on the interior, and Georgia Tech really missing Robert Carter Jr., that torn meniscus. That really hurts the Yellow Jackets on the inside as well.
Duke and North Carolina both losing their ACC openers. Shot clock inside 10 for Faust. Allen for 3. Knocks it down.
Yeah, see, when he's in the game, they really can spread you out with Allen, Faust, Lehman, all being able to knock down an outside shot.
Allen's been terrific from 3, 8 for 15 since coming back. Newkirk for 3 for Pitt.
Playing a big 3 for them against NC State. Josh Newkirk just shows the depth of Pitt. I mean, Pitt has 10 guys. Jamie Dixon has 10 guys that he feels confident in that can come in and make contributions.
Newkirk, a freshman. 7th three of the year for him. Allen, back-to-back threes. Rebound, Newkirk. Pitt 3-on-3 if they hurry. Terrific play by Allen to break up the pass. Then Newkirk, kick out. Johnson, three. Panthers by 2. We've played nearly 8 minutes. And a very intensely played first ACC meeting between these two schools. Down low, Graham with a little jump hook.
One of the things injuries can do can help you build depth. And that's certainly Jonathan Graham, his playing time and his evolution. That's paid dividends for Maryland because he's gotten some time when they had the injured Seth Allen.
The pull up by Wright. And we're going to get a rebound foul, and that will take us to a break.
Pitt certainly has been the first to a lot of 50-50 balls. Nice drive here by Newkirk and Deron Johnson. He gets going, you better watch out.
Maryland and Pitt meeting in Pittsburgh for the first time since 1981. They're even 8 minutes in. The Maryland Terrapins, their season recap. Off to a 10-5 start. They've won 3 straight and 5 of their last 6. Mark Turgeon feels this is easily the best team he's had since taking over in College Park. And it will be the final season, the 61st final season for Maryland in the ACC. It's off to the Big Ten. And Karen, chatting with Mark at shoot around today, we asked him, is there a sense of nostalgia around as we look at the Maryland season summary? And he said, well, you know, I've only been here for 2+ years, and let's face it, the decision to go to the Big Ten was made a long time ago. We realize what the ACC means for our fans, but for us, it's moving forward. We'll do the best we can in our final season of this league, and then we'll try to start anew next year in another conference.
When you look at Maryland, I mean, at 10-5, and we saw some of the close calls they had. Of course, that season opener against UConn, they lose by 1 point. They lose to GW, who's having a great start to the season. Mike Lonergan doing a terrific job. They lost by 2 points to them. Maurice Creek has had a superb year so far, so they've had some close calls. But I think we're going to see a different Maryland team in conference. With Seth Allen back with their full complement of players, this is a team that's going to need to score wins like this tonight against Pitt.
Both teams getting great production off the bench. Last 13 points of the game coming from the 2 benches. Faust in traffic, missed a tough shot, and an even tougher rebound pulled down by Graham. Allen with the reset. Patterson rolled. Faust. This is Allen, went behind the back. Misses the runner. Rebound finally pulled down by Zana. Both teams really contesting every shot, every pass. Inside Zana, didn't even hit the rim. Faust, deflected and stolen by Johnson. Threw the ball a little bit behind Patterson. Look at the body control.
Maryland can't be careless. They need the did there because of Pitt. They're so active with their hands. You can't drive in and not know what you're doing and try and kick out behind you.
Allen drives, and the rebound pulled down by Zana. That last basket by Patterson, the first points by a starter for either team in 7.5 minutes. And 2 more points from the bench go to Newkirk. Timeout, Mark Turgeon. Boy, transition's the way to go tonight, Kara, because neither team can get settled or establish a rhythm in the half court.
Well, I think Maryland's got to figure out what they're going to do in transition defense, and obviously that's made more difficult when you turn the basketball over. Easier for a team to run out. You're going to have numbers. A great look ahead and finish here by Patterson, but that has to be what Mark Turgeon is frustrated about, is somebody's got to stop the ball. I mean, he gets right to the ACC logo. No contest. No one steps up and stops Josh Newkirk. You can't continue to do that and expect to hold a team like Pitt down offensively.
We asked Jamie Dixon today in shoot-around, has he changed his approach at all since he's joining the ACC? And I wouldn't say that Jamie bristled, because I don't think Jamie ever bristles at anybody. He's very polite. But he's getting tired of hearing that question. And he said, look, we adjust every year based on personnel, based on the teams we're playing. We don't plan to adjust our style. Says, I'll bet you Maryland has a different approach this year than they did last year. He feels his team is well suited to play in the ACC and feels the league needs to adjust to them instead. And Smotrich nails the 3 out of the timeout.
Well, that's what you love to see, is out of a timeout execution on the offensive end. And the more clean looks Maryland can get from beyond the arc, the better it goes for them offensively.
Robinson. Low blocks on it. Patterson fakes clear off his feet and does a nice job of drawing foul number 2 on the big 6'9" center. It's been a remarkably foul-free game. Only the 5th foul of the game, 3 on Maryland. And Patterson will go to the line to shoot a couple. It's amazing how he has developed from his freshman year to his senior year and has developed into such a fine all-around player.
He has. I mean, we talked about just getting in better condition. And I think sometimes, you know, guys don't understand it's not just about skill work. Skill work is a big piece of it, but getting yourself in condition to be able to repeat those skills over and over and over. And to me, that's the biggest difference in Lamar Patterson's game this year. It's helped his efficiency. It's helped his consistency game in and game out.
Wells directs traffic. Clear sets the high screen. Wells gave up his dribble. Peters launches the 3, air ball. Rebound Artis. Zana set the screen, then rolled, but forgot to put it on the deck and was called for the travel. Newkirk will depart. Jamie Dixon reinserts Cameron Wright into the game. 3rd turnover of the night for Pitt. Both these teams with a quick turnaround after playing on Saturday. Maryland beating Georgia Tech comfortably, and Pitt overcoming an early 17-2 deficit to win at NC State. Wells with the spin. Wright looks inside. Patterson penetrates, leads for Wright, and he will be fouled by Lehman. Number 1 on Lehman and number 4 on the team. ESPNU has top-notch college hoops doubleheader on Wednesday night. First at 7 Eastern time, it will be Harvard against UConn. Then at 9, Texas squares off with Big 12 rival Oklahoma State. Both games also live on Watch ESPN. UConn, Kara, coming off back-to-back losses to begin play in the American at Houston and SMU. We saw them on New Year's Eve.
Tough start. I mean, tough road trip there for Kevin Ollie, and it doesn't get easier coming home. Tommy Amaker and Harvard, they will challenge Connecticut. You know, what was most startling to me about UConn on that Texas trip is just the lack of focus and really the lack of effort, particularly in that first half against Houston.
Harvard is off to a 13-1 start, its best since the 1945-46 season. Wells with the jumper.
He can get going. And, you know, the best offense for Maryland when they're going against that half-court set defense has been either Des Wells or Seth Allen being able to break down their defender and get into the paint.
Wells the best at creating his own opportunity for Maryland.
Well, Seth is very good, too. Seth Allen's pretty good, too. I'd say those are their two best players.
Patterson somehow split the defense and took it right to the rim. He's already got 10 points. Pitt by 2 inside the 8-minute mark. You can just feel the intensity. Smotrich has already hit 1 3, steps back, and bails another one.
I mean, that's tough. I mean, that's your 4-player. That's your 4-player, Evan Smotrich. Little step-back action on the freshman, Jamal Artis. That's difficult to defend.
Terps have hit 4 of the last 5 shots. Smotrich sort of your classic stretch forward. Derek Randall's checked into the lineup. And we're going to get a kick and a timeout.
Well, Maryland making a little push here offensively. Smotrich, that's your 4-player. Puts him to the ground and drains it. Maryland upward.
We've had 4 ties. We have had 6 lead changes. Maryland leads Pitt by 1. Carol, let's go inside the play.
Well, certainly the 3-pointer has been big for Maryland to come and take this lead, but let's take a look where Pitt has been defending them on the ball screens. Maryland point guards, whether it's been Des Wells, Roddy Peters, can't pick the dribble up. When you come off this ball screen, you know Pitt's going to hedge. When you pick your dribble up, it allows Pitt to rotate, and you really kill the play. You kill the play, and you end up taking a contested and a tough shot. So Maryland coming off of those screens, they have to attack the hedge or flip the pick and find a way to get into the lane, because when you pick it up, you play right into Pittsburgh hands and hedging that ball screen.
Des Wells has been the model of consistency for Mark Turgeon this year. Has scored in double figures in his last 11 games. Out of the timeout, a good open look, but unable to knock down the shot was Patterson. Peters and Allen now on the floor together for the first time for the Terps. Low block Mitchell. Backs his way in. Here comes the double team. And Wright deflects it out of bounds into the hands of Jamie Dixon. Fouts will inbound. Boy, he's been terrific off the bench all season, hasn't he?
He has. I mean, last 5 games, double figures off the bench. He's kind of gotten into a rhythm, particularly with Seth Allen back into the lineup.
Smotrich missed the shot. Who touched it last? Panthers did. And a fresh 35 on the shot clock for the Terps.
You know, Faust is kind of a wild card for them. You know, averaging double figures, but when he gets going offensively, it makes such a difference for Mark Turgeon's team. because it gives them another score, and he's a big, solid defender.
Yep.
So against a team like Pitt, when you have Lamar Patterson, you have Cameron Wright, he's a valuable piece on the defensive end.
Pitt with a 2-3 zone. They played a lot of zone the other day at NC State.
They did, and it's something that Jamie Dixon has gone to some this season. They can be effective in zone or man.
It's chipped in by Mitchell off the miss by Peters.
Now, that's a tough thing on the drive against the zone because you're guarding area, not a man. Any drive where you get into the paint, offensive rebound opportunities.
Johnson with the step back. Johnson, a young man from just down the street from Maryland's College Park campus in Baltimore.
A lot of these guys know each other. Deron Johnson from Baltimore. James Robinson played his high school basketball at DeMatha there in Hyattsville, right near the College Park campus. So a lot of guys exchanging greetings here before the game.
Allen with the drive, Wright comes right back, and his shot was deflected. And here's Peters in transition. Had it knocked away, and it was last touched by Maryland.
Yeah, see, that's the next step for Peters. I mean, he's had turnover problems. He's leads Maryland in turnovers on the season. He can improve on that, but nice drive here by Seth Allen. Again, we talked about Des Wells, Seth Allen. They are guys that can break down the defense when nothing good is going on. They can make something good happen.
Allen really has a nice change of pace dribble. Enables him to get by his man. That was the 5th turnover for Maryland. Zana set the screen, then rolled. Cannot hit the layup. Here's Faust the other way. Faust for 3. And Mitchell almost had another offensive rebound. He did, because he was last touched by the Panthers. Mitchell is a wide body down there.
He's hard to push off a spot.
6'8" sophomore from Atlanta. Well started to go. Robinson reaches in and creates the held ball, and on the possession arrow it will go over to Pitt.
That's part of what makes Pitt so good defensively. You see Robinson, he's in that gap, and they call it gap, gap, gap. You'll hear them communicating on the floor. Off their man, into the paint, trying not to let guys get to the last line of their defense.
Robinson. And he'll try to restart the offense with 12 on the shot clock. Zana rolled, and then a bad pass down by the ankles of Patterson. Clock down to 5, back to Patterson. Pretty dish from Wright. Patterson has scored 12 of the Panthers' 27 points. Allen, great penetration, but Smotrich couldn't cleanly handle the pass. 7th turnover for Allen. Johnson for 3. Rebound last touched by Smotrich. And we get a timeout. Maryland 2-0 in the league, trying to go 3-0 for the first time in 12 years.
Schroff in the studios. Coming up at halftime, Paul Biancardi tells us how realignment affects Maryland and Pittsburgh's recruiting. Plus, there's a football game apparently being played in Pasadena. And Jay Billis gives us his top 3 candidates for the Wooden Award. Bob?
All right, Anise, thank you very much. Back here at the Peterson Event Center. First ACC home game for Jamie Dixon's Panthers. Some game trends. Maryland controlling the backboards. That's very surprising against the Pittsburgh team.
Oh, that's one of the keys for them coming in. I mean, they have to really make sure they rebound and get out and run. I think that's so important. The ratio of plays that you're going against transition defense from Pitt versus their half-court defense, I think that goes a long way to determining your success against them.
Entering the game, Pitt +9 in rebound margin for the season. So they are a team year in, year out, a terrific rebounding team. And this season, Pitt not only leads the ACC as 11th in the country in rebounding margin, and they're -7 against the Terps so far tonight. A full 35 on the shot clock for Pitt to inbound baseline beneath its own hoop. Here's Robinson still looking for his first assist. He's got 55 on the year. Leads the country in assist to turnover ratio. Wright penetrates, gives to Johnson. Shot clock at 10. Robinson in traffic does a nice job of drawing contact and the foul. ESPN's Journey to the Tourney, presented by Sonic, will continue on ESPN tomorrow night. And look at this matchup. 3rd-ranked Ohio State, 5th-ranked Michigan State. It's also live on Watch ESPN. And Carey, the Buckeyes are 15-0, 2-0 in the Big Ten. Michigan State 13-1, 2-0 in the league. What an early conference season matchup that is.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game, and everyone talks about, of course, the pressure that Aaron Craft can bring defensively. But how about Shannon Scott, his backcourt mate? We talked to Mark Turgeon earlier. The Terps obviously played Ohio State early on in the season. Everything is difficult when you go up against the Buckeyes. I think they're the top defensive team in the nation.
Newkirk back in for Pittsburgh. Ohio State is indeed 4th in the country in scoring defense, and they really put a hurting on Maryland earlier this season, winning that one by 16 in Columbus. Layman. Wells leaves for Layman. The baseline drive, the up and under move is rejected by Zahn. Pitt's done a great job, Carey, defending Layman so far, and Zana will get a trip to the line.
Well, you know, that last possession with Maryland and Jake Layman is what he's going to see. It's what he's going to see in the ACC. He's not going to get clean looks. They're not going to give Jake Layman clean looks unless there's a breakdown. So what is he going to have to do? He's going to have to put it on the floor. He's going to either have to one dribble pull up or take it to the rim with authority and try and finish through some contact. And, of course, Zana right there with the nice help defense. That's a staple of Pitt defensively. Helping early, helping outside the lane. They're locked into Layman. They're not giving him any free looks at the basket.
Foul on Smotrich, his first, 6 on the team. He'll sit down. Zana, what a great story he is. The young man from Nigeria. Moved here, never had a chance to see his dad after he moved. His dad died from diabetes. He's already graduated as a BS in social sciences and is seeking a 2nd degree. A 6-0 Pitt run has resulted in a 3-point lead. Entry pass deflected and stolen. Jamie Dixon holds up the right fist, and Deron Johnson communicates the play. Was that the play? A step back 3? Is that what the fist means? Now the Panthers back in that 2-3 zone.
Yeah, 2-3 zone, and you know, Maryland's going to have to try and get penetrating drive or penetrating pass. Just passing it around here the perimeter doesn't help you out.
Peters lost the handle, got it back. first field goal for Maryland in over 4 minutes. Maryland already has a road win in the league over Boston College. Zana down low, and Mitchell knocked it away. Seconds left in a very contested, physical, aggressive, defensive first half. Mitchell down low, leaves for Lehman for the three. Rebound Zana. Wright thought about it, instead moves closer. Rebound pulled down by Graham. Here's Wells looking for something in transition. Lehman's shot is blocked by Zana.
Really good defense here by Pitt in the last 2 to 3 minutes. And it's a big reason why they've been able to turn the tides here and get up 4. What a defensive play by Zana. His help defense here in the first half has been superb. To be a great help defender, you have to understand spacing. You have to be able to anticipate the play, understand where it's going to go, not where it is right now. And that's where Talib Zana has been so good here in this first half. Anticipation, timing there on the back line of that Pittsburgh defense.
Panthers have been to the NCAA tournament 11 times in the last 12 years. Both of these teams started out by playing almost all their games either at neutral sites or home game. Pitt on Saturday played its first legitimate road game of the year. Maryland's only played 2 road games at Boston College and at Ohio State.
I think that's the reason why Pitt has been slow to move into the rankings, because a lot of people around the country aren't sure how good they are. They had some losses from a year ago, and I think they were kind of undersold to go into the season. But certainly the improvements of Lamar Patterson, the improvements of Cameron Wright and Talib Zana, that gives you a great threesome that you know you can count on night in and night out.
They lost Trey Woodall, third-team All-Big East guard, and Steven Adams, who left after 1 year for the NBA, was the 12th pick in the draft, went to Oklahoma City. Johnson drives, tried to draw contact, does, and the foul.
Lift off the bench, Deron Johnson has been for Pitt here, and you know the key for Pitt here in this first half on the offensive end, their attack, their aggressiveness, getting into the lane. What a difference! I mean, we see Maryland attack on the offensive end, and there's an army of Pitt defenders meeting them. Pitt attacks on the offensive end, and they're able to get to the rim.
First foul on Graham, 7 on the team. And off the missed free throw, we'll get a rebound foul on the Panthers. It's only the 3rd team foul on Pitt. And it will be the first on Zana. Shot clock off. What do you think Maryland's looking to happen here?
I think it's going to be high pick action like they've done. See if they can get one of their 3-point shooters open in the spread.
Graham sets the screen. Here's the double on Wells. Graham rolls to the hoop, missed the tough shot. Rebound pulled down by Johnson. And that will end the half. So the Panthers with a late first half flurry, an 11-2 run to open up a 6-point lead at the half in the first ACC home game in school history. It's Pitt 36, Maryland 30 at the half. Now let's go to Anish Shroff and Paul Biancardi. They're in the studio for the Sports Center U halftime report.
Pretty clean first half for Jamie Dixon's Pitt Panthers. Pitt shot 50% from the field. They turned it over only 3 times. Anish Shroff, Paul Biancardi. Maryland had the edge on the glass. You don't see that too often against Pittsburgh teams. What were your thoughts on the first half?
I was surprised as you were about rebounding. Pitt down 7 on the glass. They're going to have to win the glass in the second half. But for Pittsburgh to win this game, they're going to have to defend the 3-point shot, Anish. Maryland likes to attempt 19 threes a game. Evan Smotrich, he's already 3 for 3. They got to find him in conversion and the half court playing the 4 spot.
Yeah, Maryland getting introduced to the Oakland Zoo as Pittsburgh playing, as you heard Bob say, their first ACC home game. For both these schools, a different dynamic at play. Maryland in its final season in the ACC. Pittsburgh first season in the ACC. Paul, you cover recruiting. From a recruiting standpoint, as Maryland transitions to the Big Ten and Pittsburgh gets acclimated to the ACC, what's going to be the impact of conference realignment?
Well, first of all, 2 elite programs and 2 elite conferences. So there's not going to be a big advantage. But for the Terrapins, what's going to happen for them is there's some doors that are going to open in the Midwest. You start to look in the state of Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Iowa. They can go into those states now and have conversations with players. They're not going to get the best players out of the Midwest, but they'll be able to get players in the Midwest because they're going to play in front of their hometown teams. Maryland has a chance to sell that, and they still have their strong recruiting roots in the ACC. Now, for Pittsburgh, they already benefited from going into the ACC. There's a guy on the roster by the name of Josh Newkirk. Come out of Word of God High School, same high school as John Wall, Raleigh, North Carolina. In tonight's game, he has 5 points and 1 assist. It already paid some good dividends. Yeah. Now they can come into the Southeast, if you will, you know, Virginia, North Carolina, Florida, Georgia, and they still keep their New Jersey, New England, New York roots. So Pittsburgh is benefited already, and I think they're going to do more from this.
A little Southern barbecue with that New York Italian style, right?
Well, Southern Italians.
Talking to one right now. They got another one, Joe Lenardi. Bracket Math, the first edition. We look forward to this. New year and Joe Lenardi's 4 number 1 seeds. No real surprise. Arizona, Syracuse, Wisconsin, Ohio State. Last 4 in, Texas, Kansas State, Dayton, and George Washington. How about 7 of the 10 Big 12 teams in Joe Lenardi's projected field?
Well, that's really good. But let's talk about the A-10 for a minute. Dayton and George Washington, last 4 in. You got UMass. The A-10 may have as many teams in, if not more, than the Big East and some of the other major conferences. Watch out for the A-10. St. Louis Billikens got a chance to get in, too.
Yeah, Billikens right up there. When we come back, Paul, you heard about this tonight? Little football game, Pasadena, Rose Bowl?
I got a prediction.
BCS Championship, Florida State and Auburn. That comes your way at 8 Eastern on ESPN. We hear from both coaches next. Evan Almighty. Evan Smotrich, 3 of 3 from downtown. He's got 9 for the Maryland Terps. Maryland down by 6 to Pitt. The dramatic music means one thing, what to watch for. Florida State and Auburn. Tonight's the night, the BCS championship game. The Seminoles looking to cap a perfect season. Auburn has had the team of destiny mojo going. The Tigers looking for their second title in 4 years. Tom Rinaldi spoke to Auburn head coach Gus Malzahn.
Gus, you said you sleep about 4 hours a night. You spend the other 20 hours thinking about football. What have you thought most about over the last month?
Well, just getting prepared. I mean, we're playing a very good opponent. They're very good in all 3 phases, and we got our work cut out for us.
Not only the head coach, but as the play caller, what's the greatest challenge you face in this game?
Well, we're just going to keep doing things exactly like we have to get here. Keep the same routine and see what happens.
How would you describe what's going on inside you?
Well, very excited. It's a big game, and we know that, and we're ready to get this thing going.
Good luck to you, Gus. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Gus Malzahn was Auburn's offensive coordinator on the 2010 championship team. This is his first year as the Tigers head coach, and Auburn just the 10th team to reach a BCS bowl following a losing season. Only one of the previous 9 won its BCS game. The Tigers also the first team to reach the BCS title game after not receiving a single vote in the preseason AP poll. Florida State, on the other hand, was in the preseason AP poll near the top of the AP rankings for most of the season. They're looking to cap off a perfect season. Heather Cox with Seminole head coach Jimbo Fisher.
Thanks so much. Coach, you were an assistant coach on a national championship winning team. In fact, 5 of your assistants have coached in this game.
Yes.
How are you using that experience to help prepare this team?
Well, I think all the preparation in the 30 days leading up is where it was the most critical, in my opinion. I think also in the game, I think you'll be able to keep your nerves calm and be able, being in this environment before. But it was very critical in the 30 days leading up, in my opinion.
And Coach, this week, Jameis Winston has talked quite a bit about your close relationship. He called you a father figure. How would you describe the way he's matured throughout this season?
He's grown so much. He's very mature above his years. He understands the moments he's in, but he never wants it to be about him. He always wants it to be about his team, and to me, he's the ultimate competitor.
Coach, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Back to you.
It has been a banner season for Florida State's redshirt freshman Jameis Winston, the Heisman Trophy winner. Paul Biancardi, before we let you go here in this segment, you got a prediction for tonight?
Well, I'm no Tom Luger.
Yeah,
No. I'm no
okay.
football expert. But the best and the most complete team is the Florida State Seminoles. And they're going to win the national championship by double figures tonight, Anish.
You are the sultan of the segue, though. The experts with our good friend Tom Luganbill tomorrow at 1 Eastern on ESPNU. They will sort through the wreckage and dissect the aftermath of the BCS championship game. Lamar Patterson slicing through the defense. He's got a dozen at the break. Pitt up by 6. tomorrow is not a regular Tuesday. It is Super Tuesday. Doubleheader on ESPNU. Georgia Tech, Duke, Vandy, Alabama.
Georgia Tech, without Robert Carter, they have to do a better job as a team on the glass. And Duke, they have to defend if they're going to win.
Jabari Parker tries to bounce back from his worst game of his freshman season. Jay Billis gives us his top 3 candidates for the Wooden Award.
Now, we've talked
a
lot about freshmen. But really what we need to talk about are who are the best players in the country that are vying for the Wooden Award presented by Wendy's. I'm going to give you my list, my top 3, and it really hasn't changed from last week. Marcus Smart of Oklahoma State I've got at number 3. At number 2, the freshman from Duke, Jabari Parker, who had perhaps his worst game at Notre Dame, but still is having a magnificent season. And number 1, Doug McDermott of Creighton. The senior is having a great season, and right now he's the early leader for the Wooden Award.
We'll get you back out to Pittsburgh, second half of Pitt, Maryland. There's Durant Johnson, 2 of his 10. Panthers up a half dozen.
Welcome back to the ACC on ESPN. It's the first conference home game in the ACC for the Pitt Panthers, and at the half, they lead Maryland 36-30. Welcome back to the Peterson Event Center. I'm Bob Picozzi, along with 11-year WNBA veteran Kara Lawson. And Kara, Pitt has 3 starters back from last year, and they relied very heavily on 2 of them to get that 6-point halftime lead.
You know, they had a spurt there. The last 4 minutes, they were down 1. They go from -1 to +6 into the half. And a big part of that was Talib Zanna defensively. I mean, what he was able to do at the back end of that. 2 blocks in the last 4 minutes, help defense by Pitt. They're forcing Maryland players to take contested shots. Zanna on the back line of that defense, and then on the offensive end, the senior, the guy that's been their leader all season long, Lamar Patterson, 12 points here in the first half. So efficient, 5 for 7 from the field. He's a big part of what they do on the offensive end, and a big reason why that stretch, they go from -1 to +6 here to take the lead.
Look at the stats. Maryland 4 for 10 from three-point range. They out-rebounded Pitt. 6 Pitt steals. And the Patterson and Deron Johnson combo, Johnson off the bench for 22 points. The Panthers shot 50% from the floor in the first half. And Kara, neither team had a lot of good, clean looks. Both teams defensively have really contested.
They have, and the biggest difference has been the points off the turnovers. You saw it. 13 points off of 8 Maryland turnovers for Pitt. The difference in the game.
And Deron Johnson begins the second half on the floor, and he has 12 points.
So a couple different starting lineups. Seth Allen starts at the point guard position for Maryland, along with Nick Faust. Mark Turgeon trying to get going offensively.
This is the biggest lead of the night for either team. Allen penetrates and leaves for Smotrich for 3. And there's Zana yanking down another rebound. His 6th, all of them off the defensive glass. Right, great penetration, but Johnson could not handle the pass. Here's a 3-on-2 for the Terps. Wells leads for Allen for 3. Seth Allen is really shooting the lights out from three-point range since coming back from missing 12 games with a foot injury. It's 2 for 3 tonight and 9 for 16 for the season. Down low Zana, nice spin.
Good recognition there by James Robinson. Maryland switches on that. Great advantage there by Zana, having Allen trying to post him up. He goes to work.
Faust begins on the floor in the second half. Always comes off the bench, and the putback by Shaquille Clear. Clear picked up 2 early fouls and only played 8 minutes in the first half. Cameron Wright. Johnson comes around the screen. Tried to draw the foul. No whistle. Faust behind the back pass for Smotrich for 3. Rebound Wright. Wright penetrates and deflecting it out of bounds with Smotrich with 29 to shoot.
You know, I like this lineup for Maryland on the offensive end because it gives Seth Allen, who was probably the best Maryland player in terms of getting into the lane in the first half. Jake Layman has been a no-show offensively. I mean, he has not proven that he can score against Pittsburgh defensively yet. And so you put Nick Faust in there, see if he can give you some production there off the bench.
Layman 0 for 4 from the floor in the first half, 0 for 2 from three-point range. And he's a terrific three-point shooter, 42% for the year. Zana sets the high screen. Patterson looking low block instead, leaves for Wright for 3. Long rebound on a hop to Clear. Allen penetrates, does a nice job of drawing contact. Foul on Robinson. Layman beginning the second half on the bench.
Well, he's had a tough go at it. And here's the deal that Jake Layman is going to learn, and he needs to understand. You know, he only averaged 5.5 points a season ago. He's really boosted his scoring average, as you see there, almost 14 a game. He's a knockdown shooter. And so now you get in the conference play, people know what you're about. They're not going to give him open looks. He's going to get open looks off of transition or off of offensive rebounds. He's going to have to find a way to be effective on the offensive end. He can't just be known as a shooter if he wants to continue to be a double-figure scorer.
Has Maryland done enough tonight, do you think, to create opportunities for him?
Well, I think it's a little bit easier when Seth Allen's able to penetrate, but guys don't leave Layman. They don't leave him open like Deron Johnson got left right there.
And Johnson buries the 3. He's got 15 points off the bench, equaling his career high. And now Roger Ayers blows the whistle. Evidently there's some sort of clock issue. The shot clock right now is at 30. And Faust will inbound forecourt on the side.
Pitt has mixed and matched kind of their wow. Right out the back line. I'm just talking about how the zone has been pretty effective. And Nick Faust, what does he do? He sneaks behind the back of that 2-3 zone for an alley-oop.
And Allen found it. Robinson goes behind the Patterson tree. Tough shot on Faust. And then they collided, and Faust tripped over Robinson. And now Eddie Corbett is going over to try to defuse the situation. I don't really think there's anything to defuse. They both got tangled up, not once but twice. And then Robinson says something to Faust with a smile on his face, and Faust smiles back. Both from the Maryland area, Robinson from Mitchellville and Faust from Baltimore. I'm sure they know each other. Smotrich drives and Robinson blocked it. And then Allen got his foot in the way and kicked it out of bounds.
Well, you take a look at Nick Faust here. He's going to sneak behind the back of this 2-3 zone by Pitt. Right there, Deron Johnson is going to be even a little screen there by Evan Smotrich, but he doesn't even need to do it. Great set play, and Maryland tried one of those right at the beginning of their second half to try and get Des well an alley-oop look, but really effective there against the zone.
A lot easier to do against the zone, right?
What's that?
A lot easier to convert that off the zone, right?
Yeah, it is, because guys can lose track on the back line, especially when the ball is cross court like it was there.
Cameron Wright, nice use with the left hand. The lead is back up to 8. We've played 4 minutes second half. First ACC home game in Pitt history. They won their conference opener on the road at NC State Saturday. Smotrich misses the 3, and Cameron Wright with the rebound. Pitt looking for its first double-digit lead of the evening. Low block zone. He'll shoot over, clear. Rebound in the lane, Wells. Off transition, Smotrich's shot is blocked by Zana, but he will be called for the foul. Number 2 on Zana, and number 2 on the Panthers. So Maryland will be shooting some free throws when we return. They better restock the Deron Johnson t-shirts in that Pitt team store. He's got 15 points off the bench, tying his career high. Big reason why the Panthers lead by 8 in their first ACC home game in school history. And some ACC news and notes. How about Syracuse scoring only 49 points but escaping with a win over Miami?
Well, Syracuse, Tyler Ennis, the freshman, and he leads the ACC in steals. He's 3rd in assists. He's done a great job of just navigating that Syracuse offense. And you see them getting better and better. Arizona's probably been the most impressive team in the country, but I happen to think Syracuse might be the best team in the country.
Notre Dame winning at Duke. And Duke and Carolina losing their conference openers, and it's the first time that's happened since 1995. We mentioned that Duke fell out of the top 10 today for the first time in 122 weeks. They're now 16. Carolina, after losing to Wake Forest last night, dropped out of the top 25, so there are only 2 ACC teams in the top 25. Duke at 16 and Syracuse at number 2.
You know, all the conference season does is remind you every season when it starts how difficult it is to win on the road. I mean, it is tough. It doesn't matter who you're playing. If you're playing a team at the top of the standings or the bottom of the standings, and certainly in the ACC, that's proven itself. Duke going to Notre Dame and losing, Carolina going to Wake.
Well, in Mark Turgeon's first 2 years at Maryland, the Terps went 3-14 on the road. They won their conference road opener this year against a very weak Boston College team. But he told us there we're a much better road team than we were last year. He wrote off the first year. He said, Bob and Kara, we were awful in our first year. Home, road, neutral site, doesn't matter. We were terrible. Patterson for three. This is now the biggest lead of the night. $15 points for Patterson. Smotrich misses the three. Tough rebound by Clear. His shot was blocked. It's a held ball. And on the arrow, it will go back to Pitt.
The most effective offensive lineup for Pitt this evening. Lamar Patterson at the floor position. Evan Smotrich trying to check one of the better offensive players in the country at the floor position. It just creates a matchup problem. Now they're going to go with Michael Young in the game, but whoever's trying to guard Lamar Patterson, if it's a post player, Pitt has the advantage. They have a more free-flowing offense with four perimeter players on the floor.
Jamel Artis, number 1. Josh Newkirk, number 13, also back on the floor for the Panthers. So
now it'll be a more traditional lineup for Pitt. 3 perimeter players, 2 post players, but that's been a good stretch for them here in the second half with 4 guards on the floor.
And no Zana on the floor. Newkirk. Patterson probing the defense. Young sets the screen, then rolls, gets the ball. Head pump. He's coming off his best game. He scored 13 at Georgia Tech Saturday.
Michael Young has progressed really quickly defensively in Pitt's system as Seth Allen hits a much-needed 3 for the Terps on the offensive end. And, you know, Pitt has really improved defensively over the last couple of weeks. Jamie Dixon talked about that in practice, and they're starting to get their system and be more effective on that end of the floor.
Allen 3 for 4 from three-point range tonight. Patterson with the miss and the rebound to Graham, and then he lost it over the end line. So Pitt ball beneath its own basket. Chatting with Mark Turgeon at shoot-around today, and we said, you guys are playing better, right? And he said, yeah. And he said, the explanation is very simple. We're healthy. Newkirk hits the 3. How do you give up that open look off the inbound? This is the biggest lead of the night. Mark Turgeon wants a time. So it's getting away from the Terps. Still plenty of time left. But the Panthers have opened up an 11-point lead.
Bench points for Pitt have been the difference in the ball game. Deron Johnson, Josh Newkirk with his second 3 of the evening. Pitt starting to open it up. Off the bench have really come to play tonight, led by Deron Johnson. He's already tied a career high through the first 26 minutes of this game. The ability to knock down the outside shot. When he hits his first couple, he gets so much confidence. We see him knocking down threes, getting into the lane, just a difference maker for Pitt off the bench. And let's not discount Josh Newkirk's contribution as well.
Johnson coming off a scoreless effort in 8 minutes at NC State on Saturday. His brother Jarrell, a senior linebacker on the East Carolina football team this year. Johnson on the bench now. He began the game on the bench, but he began the second half in the starting lineup. Let's see what Maryland comes up with out of the timeout, down 11. They get an open look for Faust. Offensive rebound, Lehman. And the foul.
Yeah, I love that. I love seeing that because here's a young man that has struggled. I mean, he struggled tonight offensively. They're locking into him from beyond the arc. They're making it difficult for him. So you have to find other ways to be effective. You have to find other ways to contribute to your team, not just shooting the basketball. And here's what Lehman does. I love the offensive rebound, the toughness, and to be able to finish through contact. Gives his team a much-needed bucket.
Eddie Corbett and Tony Green, two of the three officials over at the monitor. First points for Lehman.
And the foul charge on number 1, Jamel Artis.
They were checking to see who the foul was on, and it's on Artis. His second, 3 in the team. That's only 6 fouls on Pitt in the game. And Lehman will go to the line. Mark Turgeon says he stretches the defense. You just cannot leave him open if you're an opponent, and that creates options for the rest of us. Newkirk from the perimeter. Rebound pulled down by Grant. Grant's been very active off the boards off the bench.
He has. I mean, he's a player that's kind of entered into the rotation. They built some post depth when Seth Allen was out because they had to play some more guys, some bigger guys.
Wells with the miss. Patterson. Oh, tough shot that one. And now Jamie Dixon wants a timeout following Patterson's 16 and 17 points of the night. He's a young man that was on none of the preseason Player of the Year watch lists.
Well, he should be on some of the midseason ones. I mean, the body control. That's what's so impressive about Lamar Patterson. He gets into the lane. He can absorb contact. He's not deterred. You see the focus. Nice finish. 17 points already. He's hit his average. He's had a spectacular start to the season.
On Super Tuesday, we have 2 conference rivalry games for you on ESPNU. At 7 Eastern, it will be Georgia Tech and Duke in the ACC. Then at 9 Eastern, Vanderbilt and Alabama. Both games also are live on Watch ESPN. Trevor Relaford coming off an 18-point effort for Alabama in a win over Robert Morris on Saturday. The Oakland Zoo is always filled. In fact, every seat in this house is filled. It's one of the terrific on-campus arenas in the country. It opened in 2002. It still looks brand new. And they have sold every single seat to every single regular season game in the history of this building. Peters back on the floor at the point. Shot clock at 10 for the Terps. Wells over Robinson. Rebound, Graham tried to corral it and then knocked it over the end line. And we'll go back to Pitt. In this building, Pitt is 189 and 22. They've won 11 straight. Just a tough out. Only 22 losses in this, the 12th year of the building. And in driving through the Oakland section of Pittsburgh, where the campus is located today, Carrie, you saw all the ACC banners on the lamppost. Folks in Pittsburgh are excited about the Panthers being in this new conference. Counted in the foul for Artis.
Yeah, long term, when you look at this Pitt team, I think the improvement of Michael Young, of Josh Newkirk, and of that young fella right there, Jamel Artis. I mean, they're the 3 freshmen on this team, and Jamie Dixon has integrated them into the rotation from the beginning. This is a Pitt team that can go 10 deep, and you see all three of them out on the floor right now in a pivotal stretch here in the second half as they try and expand their lead.
Second foul on Graham and first team foul on Maryland this half. Artis back rims it, rebound pulled down by Faust. Looking for something in transition. And the rebound comes to Robinson. Quickly the other way, it's Newkirk. To Young, he couldn't handle the pass. Faust. Oh. Third and fourth points of the night for the 6'6" junior from Baltimore.
All four of his points have come in spectacular fashion.
Mark Turgeon would love to get him there. Terps still have some work to do, down 11 inside the 12-minute mark. Robinson with a wide open look. He's got 6. Robinson's such a good ball handler and penetrator, Kara. He needs to hit that open shot to make teams play him.
No, Robinson's just a winner. I mean, he's just a winner. He's the all-time winningest player in the MAFA history. And you look at the players that have gone to this school, to that school, and what he brings. And Maryland is trying to get things going. I mean, they're trying to manufacture some points and try and cut into this lead and getting some turnovers and runouts. Nick Faust with the finish. That can go a long way to helping them, but how about the perimeter for Pittsburgh tonight? They've been knocking jump shots down.
Biggest lead of the night for Pitt. A lot of reasons, Kara, why they've opened up that big lead, but perhaps the biggest is Panthers are shooting the lights out.
They just had a great rhythm to their offense here in the second half. They had a good rhythm in the first half. You see 50%, 69% for the Pitt Panthers here in the second half. They've been able to stretch this out. Maryland's got to settle down defensively. They've got to try and impact Pitt and disrupt their rhythm.
And Pitt shot 63% from the floor in the second half on Saturday over NC State. How do you like Pitt? Welcome to the ACC. They found themselves trailing 17-2 the other day in Raleigh and wound up going away, winning by 12.
Second half performance. I mean, outscored NC State 48-28 in that second half. They mixed their defenses, went to 2-3 zone for a stretch, and I like this move by Mark Turgeon here, trying to just create some havoc here with a little pressure out at the timeout.
And they got a lot of length with Lehman and Smotrich at the head of that press.
Yeah, 1-3-1, the little half-court zone action.
Newkirk penetrates, leaves for right. Shot was blocked from behind by number 35, Dodd. Smotrich, pump fake. And it'll make it Lehman, excuse me. And Lehman will go to the line to try to knock down a couple.
That's what stops gets you. Stops gets you the opportunity to run. Might not get a layup in transition, but puts you at the advantage. Jake Lehman, nice job with that shot fake, getting to the rim, what we talked about, not relying on being just a shooter.
Third foul on Artis. Hill depart and Johnson back in for the Panthers. You see the difference between Lehman's numbers freshman year and so far as a sophomore.
Maryland's going to stay in this zone. It worked for a possession. They're going to see if they can make it work for two here. But you talked about that length at the top of it with Jake Lehman at 6'8", Nick Faust and Evan Smotrich on the wings.
And also during that last timeout, Mark Turgeon inserted the 6'9" freshman Dodd, who's kind of slipped in the rotation. Now that Allen's back, he doesn't play Allen's position, but he slipped one man further down in the rotation. And we'll get a foul on the perimeter on Maryland.
You can tell that Mark Turgeon is trying to find somebody that can give him some activity on the glass on both ends of the floor. DeMonte Dodd comes in, the fourth player at the center position already for the Terrapins.
Second foul on Lehman, and only 2 on the Terps here in the second half. With Pitt inbounding in the forecourt, Maryland has switched to a 2-3 zone. Sana puts it on the floor, and he'll draw the foul. It will be on Dodd, his first and 3 on Maryland. So Zana will go to the line, and what a quantum leap in production it's been for Zana throughout his career at Pitt, which began with him redshirting as a freshman because of a shoulder injury.
That's really the theme of this Pitt program. When you take a look at the players that come in, not always McDonald's All-Americans, not always those players that are highly rated, but they come here and they get better, they improve. And Zana now is a pivotal piece. His scoring is up from the season ago, but you can say that about half their lineup. Patterson's scoring is up, Cameron Wright's scoring is up. And they really improve here. And this is a team that, I think has got a chance to make a run at maybe not the ACC championship, but to be in the top 3 teams.
They were picked only 6th in the ACC preseason poll. Smotrich back rims a 3, and on the rebound we'll get a foul called on Faust. His first and number 4 on the team. Do you think there are 5 teams in the ACC better than Pitt?
I don't think there are. No. In the preseason, you take a look at Virginia and you take a look at Notre Dame. Those are 2 of the teams that were ranked higher than Pitt. North Carolina as well, but Pitt has been consistent. It's just been the quality of the opponent, I think, that everyone around the country wants to see how they do against better opponents. And tonight, they're doing a pretty good job against a solid opponent.
Carolina will play Syracuse next Saturday. Inside the 9-minute mark. Panthers up by 13. It was 6 at the half. Zana sets the high screen. Shot clock at 10. Back to Robinson with 5. Gives to Wright. And he draws the foul with 2 seconds left on the shot clock. And there's your preseason ACC poll with Duke, Syracuse, and Carolina at the top. Those are just the top 10.
Yeah, certainly Boston College is dropped out of that. Florida State, I think, is better than the 9th best team in the country, although they got it handed to them by Virginia. So some up and down, but I think Pitt is going to have a solid season. You see the depth in their rotation, the fact that they do have a star in Lamar Patterson, a guy that can be consistent as an offensive force every night.
The way the ACC schedule works with the 15-team league is everybody plays 4 opponents 2 times each. And those 4 opponents for Pitt are Maryland, Clemson, NC State, and Syracuse. And Maryland will play Pitt, Florida State, Virginia, and Virginia Tech 2 times each. And the scheduling quirk in Maryland's last year in the ACC, they will not see either Duke or North Carolina at home.
Quirk, right.
Peters struggled on the handle, and we eventually get the held ball. The arrow will keep it at the Maryland end with 14 seconds left on the shot clock. There you go, Maryland. They've played Duke at home every year since 1955. In their last year in the league, they will not see the Blue Devils in College Park, or the Tar Heels, or the Wolfpack. Maryland joins the Big Ten on July 1st. Two-time ACC tournament champ. Maryland has won or shared 5 regular season titles, and of course won a national championship in 2002. Shot clock down to 8. Maryland's got to go. Peters with the clock at 2, and Allen with the desperation 3 to beat the buzzer. He's the guy you want shooting a desperation 3.
Well, I'm not sure anyone else knew the shot clock was that low, except for Seth Allen when he called it.
That's a season high 18 points for Allen. Inside Young, and he'll be fouled by Lehman.
If a comeback is going to be made by the Maryland Terrapins, you'd have to believe that tonight and any night it's going to be Seth Allen to help lead the way. 18 points, much needed 3-pointer for the Terps.
At the top of the hour on ESPNU, a little SWAC-tion, Southern and Texas Southern. Eric Murray of Texas Southern, 3rd in the NCAA in scoring. He transferred over from West Virginia. Bob?
All right, Anish, there is the footprint of the brand new ACC with the 3 new members this year, all coming from the Big East. Pitt, Syracuse, and Notre Dame. Louisville will leave the American Athletic Conference, its one and only season there, to make it 16 teams next year. That is going to be a heck of a basketball conference. Not that it wasn't before, Kara, but what tremendous depth with the tradition and history of the programs, the longtime programs like Carolina and Duke, and then you add Syracuse, you add Louisville, you add Pitt.
Notre Dame as well. I mean, certainly the entry to Jerry Grant has kind of changed the course a little bit of Notre Dame season with Mike Ray, but a lot of talent coming over from the old Big East to help populate the ACC and make it what should be the premier basketball conference in the country for years to come.
Terrific win for Mike Bray's Irish over Duke on Saturday, and Eric Atkins was named the ACC Player of the Week today. Of course, Mike Bray, before he became a head coach in Delaware, was Mike Krzyzewski's #1 lieutenant. Back at Duke on back-to-back national championship teams. Michael Young at the line. It's been a very quiet night for him after a terrific game at NC State on Saturday.
Well, it has, and we talked about how Jamie Dixon has gone to more of a 4-guard lineup through stretches of this game, so that's limited the post players in the game, and so I think it's just been a function of Lamar Patterson playing really well at that 4 spot, and Michael Young just not having as many minutes this evening that he's had in the last few games.
Jamie Dixon told us at shoot-around today, we've been very inconsistent. The NC State game was sort of a snapshot of our whole season. We played so poorly at the start, so well at the end. And he said, at times we've relied too much on our shooting to define us. And he said, that's not what we are. We're a defensive and rebounding minding team. We always have been.
Well, part of the reason is Pitt started off the season shooting so well from beyond the arc. I mean, they were lights out from beyond the arc to start the year. And they since hit a dry spell. And we see tonight that they have that capability, but I think they have to have a good balance between attacking as perimeter players and settling for jump shots.
Artis with the rebound as we approach the 7-minute mark with a 12-point Panthers lead. Artis, the wide open look. Artis, another one of those Pitt players from Baltimore. Went to Dunbar High School his first 2 years. Patterson's pass deflected by Wells. Faust back in for Maryland. Coming up on Tuesday on ESPNU, we'll see Georgia Tech. Let's see how Duke rebounds from the conference season opening loss to Notre Dame. And then later on, Baylor, Iowa State, Ohio State, Michigan State.
I'd say that's a pretty good Tuesday slate, huh?
Yeah.
2 top 10 matchups.
Well, that Big Ten matchup is going to be very interesting. Between the two of them, they only have one loss, Ohio State and Michigan State. Patterson misses the shot. Here's Wells, has Faust to his left. Robinson stood his ground and will be called for the block. Number 2 on him, and 5 on the Panthers. So Wells will go to the line. Mark Turgeon was telling us today, Wells is a true competitor. Said the road doesn't scare him. He says, in fact, he plays better on the road than he does at home.
Maryland's going to have to up their defense here in the last 6 minutes. A lot of times when you're down by double digits and you feel like the time is closing in on you, certainly have 6 minutes left, a lot of time, but you start to force things on the offensive end. And as a team, you need to put your energy in the defensive end of the floor. You come back from deficits like this with stops.
And Mark Turgeon wants to get a timeout here with 6:11 remaining, and his club trailing by 13 points. Lamar Patterson with just a terrific start to his senior year here at Pittsburgh.
You know, one of the most impressive things about Lamar Patterson is, one, his confidence, but also his body control. I mean, when he goes into the lane, he has the ability to finish through contact. He stays on balance, and he doesn't do a ton that's flashy, but it's his consistency and his efficiency this year that have made him one of the top players in the ACC.
Barry Roarson, the associate head coach here at Pitt, second tour of duty as an assistant here at Pitt. He was an assistant under both Ben Howland and Jamie Dixon. He told us today, well, he says, Lamar's like our Swiss Army knife. You name it and he can do it for us. Roarson delighted to be back here at Pittsburgh, where he's had so much success as the lead recruiter for this program over the years, particularly getting kids out of New York City. Allen to Wells, takes it right to the rim. Rebound Robinson. And now Pitt has numbers. Patterson will reset the offense. Only loss for Pitt in 14 games to Cincinnati in the Jimmy V Classic at Madison Square Garden. They scored only 43 points in that game. Patterson, nice change of pace on the dribble. Artis missed the shot, then tries to run down the rebound, but cannot.
One of the most interesting stats about that game, 44-43, was that Pitt had 29 free throw attempts in that game. Cincinnati had 3. 3. There's a 26 free throw differential. Cincinnati still squeaked it out. Pitt is, you know, maybe 2 free throws away from being undefeated.
Next up for the Panthers will be Wake Forest here on Saturday. Smotrich with the 3.
You know, with the way Pitt guards those ball screens, having Smotrich maybe come and set them because they're going to hard hedge and him popping back, it might be a way to get him some easy looks here down the stretch.
Open look for Michael Young. Rebound, Zana.
Work so hard. You work so hard on the offensive end. You get a clean look, and you try to string a couple good possessions together, and you give up that. You give up an offensive rebound.
Second foul on Smotrich. 7 on the team. Zana now at 9 points. Wells rebounds the missed free throw. Allen around the Smotrich screen. Leaves for Smotrich for another 3. Rebound pulled down by Patterson. Pitt last year was 1 and done in the NCAA tournament, losing the second round game to Wichita State, who of course eventually went to the Final Four. Patterson now with 19 points. Jamie Dixon wants a timeout with 4:11 left, and the lead is back up to 14. Maryland had cut it to 10 on that Smotrich 3. 2 possessions later, it's right back up to 14.
Well, how good is Lamar Patterson then? I mean, just his awareness. We talked about his body control, understanding where everyone is on the floor. 19 points for the young man, and really is one of the top players in the ACC. I think he's underrated nationally. When you look at his contributions, leads his team in scoring and assists. Great night for the Panthers.
ESPNU has some top-notch college hoops for you on Wednesday night. First at 7 Eastern, Harvard will take on UConn. Then at 9 Eastern, Texas against Big 12 rival Oklahoma State. Both games also live on Watch ESPN. And of course, Oklahoma State ranked number 11 in the country and trying to deal with the season-ending injury to Michael Cobbins, the recent marijuana possession arrest for Stevie Clark. But they continue to go on. We had a chance to see them play a couple of times, carry down in the Old Spice Classic in Orlando.
They have great athleticism. Of course, got upset by Kansas State over the weekend, and shows you how fragile being a national title contender can be. You lose a couple guys, and Oklahoma State doesn't have a ton of post depth. That Cobbins loss really hurts them.
Allen lost the ball over the baseline. Lehman will re-enter for Maryland, replacing Peters. Next up for Maryland will be 5 days off, and then a visit to Florida State on Sunday night. This is the 4th game in 8 days for the Terps. Inside Zana. Great feed from Robinson. Allen for 3. And as Johnson went for the rebound, he was shoved by Des Wells.
Maryland's tried a bunch of different defenses here in the second half to try to get Pitt off its offensive rhythm. None of them have worked. Nice dime there from Robinson to Zana.
Southern's Calvin Godfrey getting ready for Texas Southern. Remember last year, Southern made the NCAA tournament, nearly became the first 16 seed to beat a number 1. They came close in a loss to Gonzaga.
Okay, and each back here at the Peterson Event Center. Has been a very impressive performance for the Panthers on really a historic night for this program. Their first ACC home game in this building.
I mean, just a complete game, and I think it really started there, the 4-minute mark in the first half. They're down 1 going into that under 4 timeout, and they got going defensively there. The last 4 minutes, they're able to be +6 going into halftime, and they've carried it through to this second half, much like they did in their win against NC State. Back-to-back good second halves here from Jamie Dixon.
And Lamar Patterson has been the picture of consistency through the first half of the season, and he's been terrific tonight as well. And Deron Johnson's been great off the bench. He's at the line to shoot the 1-and-1. Before the game, Patterson honored for scoring his 1,000th career point, receiving the basketball from his head coach. Patterson's older brother Perry was a quarterback at Syracuse from 2004 through 2007. Here's the steal, 2-on-1. Zana smartly gives the ball to Robinson, and he's fouled by Peters. When you have a 2-on-1 and one of the guys is 6'9", the other guy's leading the country to assist to turnover ratio, you want the big guy to give it up.
Sometimes I don't want to.
So that's been your experience?
Yes, that has been my experience. Sometimes I like to show that they can dribble, they can pass, they can make a play. And
does it ever work?
Sometimes it does. That's the problem. They all think it's going to be that time that they do it, that it's going to work.
Robinson, entering the night, had a 5-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. Number 1 in the country. Byproduct of a lot of work he does with assistant coach Brandon Knight, who of course was a great player here at Pitt, has his number hanging from the rafters. Brandon works with the guards. Faust drives, and he was shoved by Johnson as he went. The foul on Johnson will be his first, and number 6 on the Panthers. So instead, won't be a shooting situation. And the Terps inbound baseline. Faust inside Wells, and he had it knocked away. Pitt's not only 13-1, but they have won comfortably. All of them by 9 or more. And 10 of them by 17 or more, coming off a 12-point win over NC State. They have not played a top 25 opponent yet. The runner by right, here's Faust, has Wells left. Faust takes it himself and draws the foul from Robinson. His 3rd and 7 of the team.
Well, this is a solid win for Pitt. I mean, again, as you mentioned, not a super strong non-conference schedule, but this is a team that has depth. They've got experience. They play tough. They make you work for things on the offensive end. And they don't beat themselves. I think that more than anything is what makes them so difficult to play against. Is they're going to guard you. They're going to make it a challenge for you on the offensive end, but they're not going to give you too many opportunities off of their mistakes. So you have to come in. You have to make tough shots in order to beat this team.
Patterson. Maryland's pretty much called off the dogs here, down 17 with 2:15 left. Pressuring within the half court, but not full court. Wright juggled the pass, and then Layman swatted it away. That's his 19th block shot of the season.
I don't think there's any question that Maryland has some work to do. And, you know, they're integrating Seth Allen back into the lineup. We talked about him probably starting the next game on Saturday, but they've got some work to do in terms of being a team that's tight with the possessions, not turning the basketball over, and defending better.
Inside Zana, and he is fouled by Lehman. That will be Lehman's fourth. Tonight's game for Maryland begins a stretch of 4 games with 3 of them on the road. The lone exception would be a home game with Notre Dame. They just played their last 5 games at home. Terps lost Alex Len to the NBA after last season. He was an honorable mention All-ACC center, 5th pick in the draft to the Phoenix Suns. They've already signed 4 players for next year. And the league they're joining next year doesn't get any easier because we know how strong the Big Ten is this year. They've had those 3 teams, Ohio State, Wisconsin, and Michigan State, sitting at 3, 4, and 5 in the national rankings for a couple of weeks in a row. Faust draws the foul. Foul will be on Patterson. This is what lies ahead for the Terps. At Florida State Sunday, then that home date with Maryland, then at NC State, and a return match with Pitt in College Park at the end of the month on the 25th.
Certainly opportunities on that schedule to get some quality wins if you're Maryland. Unfortunately, with the injury, it's tough losses. Lost by 1 point to UConn, lost by 2 points to GW. They've got some work to do. They've got some work to do through the bulk of this ACC schedule to try and get some quality wins.
Maryland picked 7th in that ACC preseason poll, coming off a 7th place finish a year ago. They did make it all the way to the semifinals of the conference tournament. They upset Duke in the quarterfinals and lost to Carolina in the semis. Went to the NIT and won 3 games there before losing to Iowa. So the Panthers turn it over with 1:28 remaining. This is what lies ahead for Pitt. Wake Forest at home, then at Georgia Tech, and then, of course, it's not going to be anything new for them playing Syracuse at the Carrier Dome. It's just this time it's going to be in a different league for both teams.
A different league, yeah, and I think that helps Pitt in this ACC race. The fact that they have Syracuse twice, even though it's probably the best team in the conference, they have great familiarity with the Orange.
Allen with the miss, the rebound, Derek Randall. Held ball, and on the arrow will go to Pitt. Our first look tonight at Randall. He's a transfer from Rutgers. First year at Pitt. Did not have to sit out following the controversy at Rutgers with the end of Mike Rice's coaching regime. Anyone who wanted to transfer, the NCAA allowed them to do that without sitting out. Here's Randall inside getting his first point.
Maryland just having a tough night offensively. You know, you have to credit Pitt. They really bottled up both Des Wells and Jake Lehman. And Maryland's not going to win many games without those two.
There's a coach who's preparing for the next game right there. 1 minute left. Mark Turgeon called timeout for the sole purpose of presumably saying, do you guys realize this game is not over? I don't care what the score is. I want you to play hard, or something like that. Let's go to Anish Ralph in the studio. Anish?
Southern and Texas Southern next year on ESPNU. These two were the top 2 teams in the SWAC a season ago. Back to Pittsburgh and Bob.
Thanks, Anish. Mark Turgeon played on a Kansas team that went to the Final Four back in 1986, and then coached under Larry Brown on the national championship team in 1988. Made the Big 8 all-freshman team when he was a Jayhawk. Did a great job at Wichita State. Took the Shockers to 1 NCAA tournament and 3 NITs during his run there. Get another held ball, and on the possession arrow it will go to Maryland. In the lineup for Pitt, for the first time this year, number 50, Joseph Ochibo, a 6'10 sophomore from Nigeria. Just medically cleared following a knee injury. Peters with the drive, and the rebound is pulled down by Ochidar. Also Chris Jones, number 12 on the floor. 22 also in the lineup for Pitt, Joshua Coe. So Jamie Dixon's emptied the bench. 24 Mike Lesak, a walk-on. Shot clock off. Lehman with the rebound, and then as Jones tried to save, he lost his footing, and it will stay at this end.
Well, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with Pitt in this performance. Had them earlier in the year and a win against Stanford and Brooklyn, and things were still forming for them, but they've got tremendous depth. I think their freshmen really add to the team, and Lamar Patterson, been saying it all year. I mean, this is a guy that should have more attention on the national radar, and if Pitt continues to win, he'll certainly get it.
So Pitt wins their first ACC home game. They go to 14-1. They're 2-0 in the ACC. They'll host Wake Forest next on Saturday. Maryland falls to 10-6, 2-1 in the league, and they will visit Florida State on Sunday. So a solid effort for the Panthers. First time Maryland has played in Pittsburgh since 1981. Once again, the final, Pitt 79 and Maryland 59. Coming up next here on ESPNU, it will be Southern University versus Texas Southern. For Carol Lawson, I'm Bob Picozzi. So long from Pittsburgh. Now let's go to Anish Shroff and Paul Biancardi in the studio.
All right, thank you, Bob. Pittsburgh 2-0 in the